Hey everyone, it's Isaiah, and this is another episode of my podcast, Isaiah's Inspiring Evenings. Today we are delving into the series called Deckiverse Diaries, which is all about decks, card decks, and what we can do with them, and the creators of the amazing card decks as well. The series is in partnership with the incredible Deckible App. And again, it's all about deck creators, card stories, and the amazing things that one can imagine with cards, whether they are physical or digital. Tonight, we are talking with Corina Thomas. I hope I'm pronouncing the Corina correctly. And the official title of the episode is Breaking Barriers with Color, which I love. Because it has this little bit of mystery in it. So, hey, Corina.
Hey, Saya. A pleasure being here.
Yes, I'm so happy to have you. We had a false alarm missed appointment a few weeks back, so I'm really glad that we managed to reorganize it. So I'm going to read a little part of Corina's biography because she has a very, very extensive life and so many interesting things. And then we'll get going. So Corina is a Reclaim Your Life intuitive therapist, and her aim is to inspire women to find their voices, stand up for themselves, take micro steps in order to reclaim their lives. She works with women who are at crossroads in their personal and professional lives, who crave clarity and purpose, who want to break free from toxic relationships, damaging behavior patterns, and the like, and so much more, right? So Breaking Barriers is a story within another story. It is a story of survival, resilience, inspiration, hope, and sisterhood. And so my first question is going to be not one that you gave me, but another one, which is you are here in as part of the Deckiverse series because you are one of the creators of one or two decks.
One of the deck. I was part of the Awakening to Your Divine Self Oracle deck cards. Yes.
Yeah. And before we go further, please remember, lovely people who are listening to us, that you will find all the information about Corina above or below the audio or the video, including links to her website and to where you can find this amazing deck that is kind of a magic deck, to be honest. So this deck has got artwork, right? And you are a painter. So how come you're a painter? When did you start? Where did you start? Because I know, because I read the rest of your biography, that you are not from just one place in the world. So tell me everything.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, we'll stay here until tomorrow and the day after tomorrow. But let me start with the beginning. So painting. I mean, I have to say that, and I love the notion of being a painter. And I have to say, I felt like a fraud for many, many years. Let's go back then. So because I'm not a trained painter, painting came to my life through tragedy, through grief, through pain. And this is when about 19 years ago, when I was in Romania, because I'm half Romanian, half Russian. So I lived in Romania most of my life. And so painting came to my life when my fiancé at the time brought to me in Romania a painting by numbers. My father was very, very ill. He was dying. And my fiancé has no idea even now what took him to a shop in England, because he's British, to pick up a painting by numbers and bring it to me to Romania. He has no idea. I remember even now it was with fishes. They were it was a painting, it was an A4 with fishes. So at the time I was going back and forth at the hospital. It was really very traumatic. It was Romania. It was, I mean, the medical systems there, it was not great. Mm-hmm. You had to bribe at every corner. The stress was ginormous. The pain for knowing that I'm going to lose my father, it was really, really big. So what I've discovered when I was coming back home from the hospital late in the evening, I started to dip the brush in the water and then in the paint, and I've started to fill in those tiny little bits of areas which had a number. So one by one, I was hooked. This is a word. I was absolutely hooked, because what I've discovered, that particular moment, whether it was a 10 minutes, it was a half an hour, it was an hour, it was giving me a space, a safe space, a safe space to recover, a safe space to run away from the pain around me, a space to gather the energy and to actually live another day. Think about this like this is another day. I have survived. He's still here. I'm sort of okay. I can cope with another morning.
I love that. Painting as a meditation, or almost.
Absolutely. At the time, I was not even aware of the word meditation, but I realized, of course, years later, that what I was doing, it was meditation. It was meditation in action. So this is, and it suited very much my personality. I've discovered again later, because this type of meditation in action, it's what stayed with me for many, many years, and it still is with me in a different form, but the roots are there. The roots are there.
I hear you. This is one thing we have in common. I'm very good at that as well. And that is my go-to thing. When things collapse, I need to be doing things while meditating.
Yeah. Correct.
Now, I'm guessing that the painting my numbers also opened up a world of color, or did that exist in your life prior to that?
This is it's a great question, because it opens the floor for me for describing a little bit the way we live, because I lived in a communist country, so I grew up in a communist country where you don't realize, you realize that the contrast between gray and color only when you are exposed to color. Because when you don't have this kind of exposure, you don't feel the need. I mean, life, it's your normality. When it is your normality, you don't crave. What you don't know, you don't crave.
So I'm going to interrupt here, because for people who have not been to a communist country before, in the last millennium, so what you are describing is a situation where there was no color around to be seen, right? Yeah, in the towns, in the cities, everything was gray, black, white.
Black.
Plus, I'm guessing the weather also, the cold winter weather means again less color.
True. I mean, there it was more the presence of white, and I have to say that was in a very strange way. This is when things started to come alive with that very strong white, and it was the contrast between the gray and white became color. White became a very, very powerful color at the time.
I hear you. I spent a few years in Switzerland, where at last, when it starts snowing, it's like, oh gosh, at least there's light. The white brings back the light, but the gray is
correct.
So heavy. And what is
a great word.
What I'm guessing is difficult to understand for anyone who's not lived that, even for me, is that there was no comparison for you, right?
No,
the gray was the normal situation.
Exactly. Gray tall buildings where we lived in flats, gray pavements, lots of pavements, lots of gray. I mean, even the life was gray, a lot. I mean, in contrast with that, color was coming somehow when there were demonstrations, when there were things for the government, for the party, sort of color. But it was not the norm. It was not the norm. So color, as I said, when color started to come into my life, it was after the revolution much more. And this is where, again, I'm going to go it on a tangent, but this is why I adore so much magazines. This is why magazines were so much part of my life. When my bosses, American bosses, were going abroad, I was telling them, please bring me magazines. What do you want to bring? What should I bring you? They were asking me magazines, women's magazines, because they were full of color. So in a way, the trail of color is with me.
Do you remember the first time you felt like, oh gosh, this is color, you know, like this, the first color that came into your mind? Which color was it, or when was it?
Right. I have two examples. I have two examples. One of them, one it's a happy one, and one it's one attached to, because the color that I'm going to speak a bit further is color. It's attached to memories as well. Color is an extremely powerful anchor. So one of the happy memories, when I was in the university in the summertime, I used to go and help on the archaeological digs. I love that. I love sort of digging in the soil and the sort of skeletons and whatever we're finding there. And with the first money that I got, you know, from that job, I went and I bought myself a skirt. I remember even now, it was with lines. It was navy blue and white. So there were stripes of this. So the first happy, positive color that I have in my mind is this navy blue, which was absolutely adorable. And the skirt was adorable. So, and another color that I remember again very strongly, but again, it's attached to memory. So I'm saying it's orange. And it's orange for a tiny little orange puppet, which was on top of the mirror in where I live with my parents, and which was I was 7 years old. It was the first traumatic experience in my life. So I have two examples. So it's two colors, both powerful.
It's interesting that those two colors are opposite on the color wheel.
Isn't it?
So you are color frustrated, right? Up until color restricted up until the painting by numbers experience. And then
Absolutely.
What? There's a flood of colors that comes, that, you know, you jump into a pool of colors.
I like the notion of jumping into a pool of colors, because I think this is what I did. I've dived in and I started to paint by numbers for a few more years, and then I've discovered I was already in England, and I discovered an online course which was about intuitive painting. And for whatever reason, I have no idea why, I have no idea why, I clicked that I will join. And at the time, again, I was working in London for the government for an event company, sort of events sort of area. I was very unhappy, and I was looking for a way out. So bang, this course appeared in my feed somehow, and this is how I got involved with the world of color. And it came color in an intuitive way, without any restrictions, without any hang-ups, without any theories behind. It was an invitation to bring color from your soul out.
So the exact opposite of painting by numbers, which is literally, you know, you're told which color to put at which place, and then you go and pick the exact opposite. You go for the opposites attracts experiences.
You can, oh my God, you can say it again. You're reading me. You're doing a reading on me.
That's really interesting. I love the way that you kind of dared to jump into intuitive painting, because, you know, for many of us, it's like, oh, do I dare? Will I know? Or will my first paintings will be crap? But since you were, if I'm understanding, not going for I want to be a classic painter, I want to do exhibitions, as in, you know, I want to be recognized, but you were doing it for you, right? For the meditation / healing / empowerment, or whatever you want to call it. That must have been fascinating to go from, you know, from the one extremity to the other, again, from the gray to the rainbow, from the painting by numbers to the intuitive painting.
Gosh, you described my journey really well, because it was like an explosion, and the word behind is freedom.
Oh yeah,
the word behind everything is freedom, and this is it's a very dear to my heart, the word freedom. And actually, this is what it gave me. and you just said, because if somebody would have started to talk to me about the theory of color and about which color matches which one, I think I would have been sort of, I would have stopped me in my tracks. But here, it was a matter of just do it, girl. Just do it, there. I said that your word is fantastic. It's there. And what I realized is that at the time, it's always a moment in time when you are prepared, when you are ready, because of various reasons, something that emotionally you are in such a state, and you say, I'll have a go. I'll do it. I'll do it. I'll do that because, again, it was trauma. Again, I was running away from
There's also
trauma.
maybe a part of I've got nothing to lose, basically. So
correct. Yeah, I have nothing to lose. I had absolutely nothing to lose. And I had so much to gain. And what I was not even aware that what I was getting was not only a freedom through color, but I was getting a sisterhood.
Oh, that's lovely.
I was getting a community. I was getting a community of women. This online, which was so, the bond was so strong. The bonds through brushes, the bonds through paints, the bonds through our fears, the bonds through our vulnerability, because this is what intuitive paintings brings. Helps you deal with the vulnerability, helps you really look at yourself, but with very compassionate eyes, with a compassion that you are giving only to your cat, dog, your pet, your best friend, whatever, but never to yourself. But this is what really brought, and so much more. I'm sure we're going to talk about that. But this community brought then the sisterhood, and the sisterhood brought the Oracle deck cards, because that's exactly where everything started for me. That's where it started, with that amazing Oracle deck cards that our common friend initiated, and the rest is in a way history, because that gave me the confidence as well, and it gave me a tool. I would just say a rainbow of tools to carry on, but it gave me a place where I can go to, and where I can really be myself, where I can cry, where I can laugh, where I can really express my anger and frustration and hope. And it was a piece of paper initially, a piece of paper stuck on a door. On a door. Yeah.
I love that, the canvas, let's call it this way, or the piece of paper, whatever substrate you want to use, can be pretty much the receptacle, would you say that?
Yeah.
The place where anything can go. Any emotions, any colors, any topic that you want to talk about. And then you don't have to know the language. You can learn the language after, kind of.
Oh, oh,
and that's the beautiful part, I think, with colors, is that you can play with them, express whatever you think you want to express. Maybe sometimes you don't even think about it. You just express it. And then you get to the understanding. I'm hearing you say, through sharing with other women in that case, but other people in general.
That's spot on. This is spot on, Isaya, because colors, again, what one realized at one point is that colors choose you.
I love that.
Not you. I'm always saying, who paints? Sometimes, you are painting. I said, no, I'm not painting. I'm a vehicle. I'm channeling. I'm a vehicle. Somebody else paints through me. I've always said that, and I continue to say and to believe this thing. And there are different entities who paint, because they have different voices. And what one also realizes is that, as I said, when for example, I approach the painting, when I'm encouraging people, when I was doing the workshop, face-to-face workshop, I was just all the time saying, it's not a matter of choosing, it's a matter of the paint's choosing you. Put your hand around around all of your colors, and listen with your hands. It's a listen. listen to it with your hands, because they never fail, because you're not doing it with a logical mind. You know, this is when slowly
rather than choosing, it's about allowing or giving yourself permission to be the vehicle and then just go with it, right?
Splendid word. Yeah, absolutely. You are just a vehicle. You are just you allow, and whether it comes a dot, a line, a blob, or whatever it comes, it's there. You just do it. You are like a scribe, you know, from the ancient Egypt. You know, you are a scribe. You're just you know, you absolutely allow whatever needs to come, because there are different things coming all the time.
Yeah. Of course. Now, I know that you like to use the words heal and empower regarding either the creative process as a whole or the colors in themselves. Can you elaborate? Does that concern just your experience, or do you believe it's everyone, for instance? Or
I have a very strong personal experience, and I also had the experience of the women that I had the privilege of guiding through various processes during my face-to-face workshops. So I can say that my experience is mixed also from witnessing other women in other courses. So when I'm going to talk by giving examples, because I think the examples are quite good. For example, why I believe we can stay until tomorrow talking about empowerment, but however, I'm going to be very brief. So I'm going to talk about why I believe it's a matter of empowerment, and I will give a very short example. Let's suppose most of the time women who were coming at my workshop, they were women who are working, so they are in different jobs, different things, many times I was listening stories about verbal abuse in the office environment, about people being put down, about women, quite traumatic experiences. They were coming in front of the white piece of paper with all of this the aura of disempowerment around them, because you carry it with you. It's an energy. I mean, all of those things, it's like an energy coming on top of you and just sitting everywhere, wherever you are. And slowly, through the process of choosing and being the ones who choose a color, who allow a voice to tell them what to do, their backs were sort of straighter. Their way of approaching sort of each brush stroke was stronger. You could see them transforming, because they were making choices. They were making choices in front of the canvas. And sometimes, I will give you an example. One of the women, for example, was the moment she saw the color brown she had an absolutely, not really a meltdown, but she was in a state of, she was frozen. It was absolutely frozen. And we started to talk, because it's what it happens. You talk about emotions around the color, around the shapes. We talked about this, and we try to understand what is the emotional reaction inside. What is it? What is the trigger? And we've discovered two elements. One was, she was the image in her head, because it comes images. It was herself as a 5-year-old at her grandparents' area with a little chick in her hand. The little chick was dead, and she remembered seeing through her hands as the brown soil on the ground. So the brown soil, the brown became a trigger for something really painful.
This painful memory.
And she remembered as well, in the office, her tormentor wears a lot of brown.
That's so fascinating, isn't it?
Absolutely. That is, I'm telling you, the thing that happened during this workshop is incredible. But what we did, we looked at the color in a different way. We used that because it was a matter of using, allowing, because again, the brown was giving power in that particular moment in time to her tormentor. And we used it, we transformed, we looked at the color in a different way. We started to think, how can we make this color usable? How can we get ourselves, because the color had the power on her. How can we get our power back? And it was fascinating, the process, because we started by combining by combining the brown with a little bit of white, because she saw that white for her, it was a pure, it was a safe color, it was a healing color. So it was, so little by little, we gradually increased the dosage of white in the brown, and we made the brown palatable. We made the color work with her. We brought this color inside her because it was something missing. And this color was disempowering her, because each time she was seeing that, it was a trigger, very, very strong negative down. And slowly and slowly, in a different session, she started to change within the work environment. Her demeanor was, from what she was telling me, so it was different. So she was facing the tormentor in a different way. She knew it was not, she started to take her power back through color.
Through adding a little white in a puddle of brown, which, you know, sounds ridiculously simple, right?
Yeah.
And yet not. That's
and yet
the magic. That's the magic of art, basically, I believe, or creativity. And yeah, this is a very nice example. I love that. I love that.
Yeah, people,
that is definitely,
you know,
how we heal is never by cutting pieces of ourselves. It's always by integrating.
No.
And so mixing and matching colors is such a nice metaphor. Hereby, not a metaphor, but a real flat example. I love that.
Absolutely. And what I also, one of my suggestions, and I'm an advocate for using your hands, for using the hands when one paints, because this is when the color becomes one with you. The color becomes one. You have it. I mean, yes, some people put the gloves, or you put a protector on the hands if you're a little bit fussy and so on. There are many, many ways. But even this simple, so-called simple for some, even that simple gesture of dipping your fingers into paint and then making a mark, making a first mark onto the canvas or onto the paper, it's a gesture of strength.
Yeah.
It's a gesture. Yes. It's an affirmation. I am.
Affirmation of self. Yeah. I love that.
Yeah. It's an affirmation.
I have one of my painter heroes. She says, "Dirty fingers, happy mind." I love that. I love that.
Oh, that's brilliant. Oh, I like that. Oh,
it's let's do this. You know, at least as far as I'm concerned, there is no moment that I'll be in my workshop or in my studio without me having very dirty fingers. That's partly why I never wear nail polish, because it's useless. Useless.
Oh gosh, it makes two of us. We're in the same tribe, Isaiah.
So you started from intuitive painting. You've been hinting that you did create workshops. I know, and I want to hear more, that you also published books or workbooks. Tell me more.
Oh, absolutely. And it's another story. See, I'm telling you, it's stories within stories, you know. So because I started, I mean, out of nowhere, I wanted to come with shapes which were like faces initially, and then very metaphysical type of which sometimes was what in my life I'm going to do. I was thinking, I can't draw. I'm useless. Why drawing me? Are you kidding me? What are you talking about? I was happy in my abstract, all of this sort of throwing paint on the, intuitively and so on. And suddenly, at one point, things started to happen. So I started to draw in my journals, because it's another thing I'm doing a lot. It's journaling. And when I say journaling, from journaling, so drawing, doing little patterns and so on. But suddenly the patterns became images. Thinking, wowie, who's doing it? Why am I doing that? What is the purpose? What's the point? And at the time, the coloring in books were in full. Everybody they were publishing. And suddenly I thought, I would like to self-publish.
Awesome.
I want to so this And I know how to self use seeing any sort of devices, online, and how to use Canva. This is when I started, okay, let me see, how can I do that? I started to use Canva. I started to learn how to scan and how to do, say, crop. And I've created, based on those drawings in my journals, which I have examples here, but anyway, I started to, I've created a workbook, which is called We Are Many People. And We Are Many People is one of my, these words, I strongly believe in them. And again, we can have a whole session of that, because it's such a diverse thing. And it is called A Perfectly Imperfect Book.
Sorry, Corina, I'm going to
Was
interrupt.
differently.
I have to interrupt you a minute because my internet connection is very slow. And so you're breaking up. So people won't be able to hear you. That's why I'm turning off my camera. I'm still here. But anyway, we're mostly recording for the audio. So could you please repeat the title?
Yeah.
Because it was breaking up.
Sure. The title is, sure. The title is We Are Many People, and the subtitle is A Perfectly Imperfect Art Therapy Book and Motivational Quotes for Adults.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah, it's what happened is, because I'm going to show you a secret here, because I had no clue how to scan properly and how to do the sort of all this integration in the papers. The images, when I printed it, the images were in the middle of the page with a lot of space around it.
Mm-hmm.
But this became a unique selling point, because this allowed people to not only not to stuck within my image and color what it is in the image, but they start. My encouragement was to get people to follow, to continue the lines.
Ooh,
and I'm going to probably, when I'm going to put in the link something which for one of the YouTube things, because it's where it's allowing people to really see how much they can add to the drawing, how much they can be inspired and become sort of drawers themselves, even if they were just
it's
lines.
like a drawing prompt rather than a coloring book. Yeah, it's kind
Correct.
of you give them a head start, and then you give them permission to actually invade the rest of the page with their own creativity. I love that. It's really cool. Actually, I remember a book like that with for my kids. So for children here in France, there was a book like that, a workbook or thing that my son, when he was 5 or 6 years old, he had something of the sort, where the coloring was hot. The lines where he was supposed to color were not finished, and so he could give, he was giving him permission basically to finish the image, so the astronaut might have a cat body or whatever. So there was just the head, and then he could add anything.
Mm-hmm.
And he loved it. He loved the idea that he could create himself. And I think this that what you were offering there is literally offering a shortcut to people's inner child, to go for them to go and
really,
play.
I was thought about that, but it's a beauty. Yeah. It is true, because it's so you're so right, because I've never thought about that. It's also tapping into their own inner creativity and discovery that they can do that. Yeah, discovery that they can just use the lines.
The thing is, if you give me a blank piece of paper and say, go on, do something, there's a very good chance I'll be paralyzed completely. And I am an artist, but I'll still, so that's why very often I will start by gluing things on my canvas or piece of paper so that I have something to start me with. You are offering that to anyone, basically, which is amazing. Amazing. Gloriously imperfect. Even better.
Yeah. Absolutely.
So you did
true.
self-publish,
and,
right?
Yes.
And it's still available?
I self-published, and I'm sorry?
Is it still available?
Oh, yes, absolutely. It's still available. And there are other, this was the beginning, and then others continued, including a little bit of self-reflection through words and collage. And I have quite a few things that I've self-published. But what I want to come back just for 1 second with this particular one. because I had it was an interesting reaction from some of my buyers. There were a group which are fostering children.
Mm-hmm.
And what it was an interesting thing that the mothers were telling me that they put the workbook on the table, and three members of the family work on the same page together, because you can put it on the table and they are different, because you can continue the lines from different angles. It doesn't matter.
Oh, I love that.
So yeah.
So it becomes
I
a
really like
collective
this quite a
creation.
lot, because correct.
Not only you and the buyer of the workbook, but including all their family. I love that.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Yeah, it becomes it's a focal point. It's something that they can be proud of it together. It's family time together. It's bonding. So it's so much more than just just coloring in one. This is what I'm saying. I mean, it was fascinating, because she was this wonderful lady was part of a group, and they bought more for the group, and the stories were very similar. So that was
it's
again,
really
it's
interesting
the power.
how in your life there seems to be many things that happen, quote unquote, by mistake, or by chance. Let's put it this way.
Yeah.
And then you and me, we can agree that there is no mistake, that there is no chance, or chance is luck, basically, and that all these things kind of, when we are ready, when we are okay to allow our creativity to break all the barriers. And I don't know exactly how to print, so I'm going to put these things in the middle of the pages, but I don't have a plan for it. But then here comes the way people use it makes me think of a plan almost. I love that. It's really I love the that it's we so often one of the blocks, at least I think so, of the creativity is that we want to put it into little square boxes of perfection. This is how this should be done. And the fact that your permission given to anyone, basically, to allow to break all the barriers with colors is amazing. Thank you so much for, in the name of humanity, thank you, because we need it.
It's an absolute pleasure. It's because I've been so much, probably, I mean, it's not again me, it's by complete accident. And when you reflect on that, you realize, I think that you are so right. You realize that talking about some workbooks and coloring books, they already you have the boundaries there. You need to do things within the boundaries, and you need to do this well. You need to color beautifully. It's not about beauty. It's about self-expression. It's what I keep saying all the time. Forget about the beauty. It's about self-expression. It's about you. It's about where are you? You are not there, to follow a particular pattern in a beautiful way. It is a constraint. You are falling into the pattern of wanting to do what society says. Oh, this is wrong. This is beautiful. This is not beautiful. It's not that. It's about the time you spend and how you feel in front of that particular page.
So once again, let me remind people listening that they will find links to everything and every aspect of your life and information above or below the audio. And so to finish up, because we're already going towards the end of this, I would like to use the last few minutes that we have together to discuss what are you doing now? Are you doing anything that is color linked or not at all? And if you are, well, tell us first, and I'll ask more questions then.
So first of all, I am still doing things involving color, but on a much smaller scale, because I'm working full time now. However, I know exactly how it can. Again, I can tell the stories of how it is to be starved for color, because for a year, because of various reasons, I denied myself that. So I know how it feels. I know how horrible it is. So I can talk from experience about many things. I came back to it and I gave myself permission. So this is the word. I gave myself permission to enjoy what made me feel good, because I was then punishing myself. So I started, enough is enough, enough is enough. So I came back to my colors. I came back to my drawings, because this is why sometimes when I come back from work very late at night, I have no energy. And this is why I connect so well with many other women who say, I have no energy for anything. I cannot paint. I said, no problem, honey. You can start drawing a little bit. And this little bit, I started with pieces of, I mean, for me to say I'm going to do something on a piece of paper, which is about a 1/4 of an A5. It's I couldn't. 5 years ago to say, are you kidding me? What are you talking about? It's even smaller than a handkerchief. What's that? I mean, I'm on a big canvas, 1 meter by a meter, to express and so on. No, I had to learn. I had to learn that my craving for self-expression at home at that time, and it has to be in whatever form it was. So it was on a small piece of paper. But what happened? I've created in this way in the evenings something like cards for myself. And this is something that inspires me now to create maybe an online workshop about make your own feel-good cards.
I love that.
So I started again. I'm drawing again. I'm coloring this thing. I'm using Neurographica, which is another passion of mine. But again, I will talk about it another time. And I combine
we could go on with this one.
Yeah. So I'm doing these things creatively. I'm painting again. I have a first painting that I've done probably in a year. First bigger painting that I've started, and it's one of my goddesses, which I feel so good. So it's like I said, the muse came back to me. It came back to me because I've allowed her to come back to me, and I miss her.
I was going to earlier on, we were talking about having no energy and being tired, and I've heard repeatedly this thing that very often we're not tired because we've done too many things, but because we've not done enough of the things that lights us up. So if
that's
I can
for me, you gave me.
If I can spend even 5 minutes of my day doing something that lights me up, it will give me energy. Some projects, some things are actually giving me energy. And I think that this is a nice full circle, because actually this is what colors do for me. They give me energy. There's, there's so many color theories and even color oracle decks. And if you want to heal, you use green and etc. etc. And I use color in the way I dress, or the way my furniture is organized, and that is basically so. This is again an invitation to anyone to never give up painting, creating, using color. Even if it's a 10 by 10 centimeters little card every night, that's beautiful,
You know what? I'm a testimony of that, Isaya. I mean,
it will, just as you said, it will open up for more energy, for more inspiration, for more creativity. Because if we give in to the tiredness of doing all the things that we don't want to be doing, and never allow ourselves the fun stuff, well, we basically put ourselves in a dead end, or in a cul-de-sac.
That's the thing. Dead end. It's a word, and it is. It absolutely. It is. And but again, it comes back to self. It's a long. To self-worth, to self-determination, to self-compassion, because we are rounding it up now. It comes to self-compassion.
I agree.
And I think it is so important to give yourself what you need, and not judge circumstances, not think about I used to be to do that in the past, and now what can I do? Only a little bit of that. No, forget about that. You can do what you can do. Do it. Do it.
Well, basically, what you want to do, just do it. But and that breaks the barriers in our lives of, you know, I can't, I don't know how to, I have a mentor that very often says, it's not that you can't, it's that you don't know how to. Just start and then learn.
Ooh, I love that. It's
there
not
are
that you
some,
can't, that you don't know how to. Oh my God, that speaks to me so well. It's true.
of course,
It's true.
we basically can, but we fear that there is a one way to do things. And for art, it's so prevalent. I mean, in the art and creativity world, it's so prevalent that, you know, you should learn first, etc., etc.
Yeah, I'm totally with you.
And I would go for the opposite way. So just, you know, start doing it and then learn more because you want to learn more, but don't learn more because you don't know enough.
Oh yeah, and don't stop starting because you need to know more. I mean, also, but what I would also say that you can use, I mean, art. I use art a lot, and even this sort of small thing to solve problems.
Yeah.
So you can use art and color and shapes and words on so many topics, because in some of my one-to-one sessions, and what I'm going to do again more online, hopefully from June, is to use art as a problem solver as well.
Yeah, I agree.
So
I agree.
yeah.
I'm going to go for an anecdote of my own before we wrap up. A few years back, I decided to become a non-smoker again. After 35 years of smoking, I decided that was it. And part of the things I did, well, I succeeded very nicely. It took me a month of my life that I dedicated almost exclusively to that. And I became a non-smoker again on December 1st, 2016. And I know that I'm never, ever going to smoke again because I don't want it anymore. And one of the things I did, so I did not take any medications or, you know, pay anything to anyone, basically. One of the things I did was I took a huge canvas, a big one, and every day I would go in there and I would write a few lines of what I want to accomplish, aka become a non-smoker again. And I would do some painting, gluing, whatever. And now I have a huge canvas made of 1 month of affirmation, determination, and basically a magic spell painting to that, you know, that if I look at it, which I don't, but if I, you know, reminds me that I've put so much of myself, so much of my will in there that I actually succeeded.
Wow.
So
what a testimony for the power of art and creativity. Absolutely. There you are, healing and breaking barriers, breaking patterns.
Yeah, absolutely.
There you have it. And yeah, that's so amazing. I mean, again, it's an inspiration. As I'm saying, stories like this, which come from art, you know, you say, oh, we'll do painting. No, it's not about painting. It's about what it heals, what it transforms in you.
It's not at all about painting. It's about healing. It's about allowing myself to express myself. It's about taking time to be creative. It's about not giving up in my creativity. And yeah, I think that you can be an inspiration for many, many people as well. And I do hope that we get to see more of your interactions and leading workshops and working one-to-ones with people, because the world needs very much healing with color, very, very much, and self-expression. I believe that there's so many people who live in these unhappy little boxes, not realizing that they have the power to change. They just need a little help and a little nudge, and a little color, basically.
Yeah, I think we are. Yeah, it will be great to be able to share the gifts and to bring them to the world. Of course, we both know the world needs this, what we're our offering. So may the divine continue to inspire us and open communication channels and open ways, and bring
more and more people to self-express with color. I think that the world needs it, the humans need it, but the world as a whole needs it as well.
Yeah, because
Yes,
colors bring peace as well. So yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
Mhm.
Freedom and peace. And who
Yeah,
doesn't need that?
exactly. Very much so.
Before we wrap up, because I realized I forgot to say that at the beginning, this is 2024. So if you're listening to this podcast in 2028 or 2029 or in the future, just know that I'm so sure that Corina is now running those workshops again. So click on those links, go and visit her and work with her because she is amazing. I would like to thank you so much, Corina, for being my guest. Again, you will find the links above or below the video for Corina all over the place. And yeah, thanks so much, Corina, for being my guest. This conversation
it was an
could
absolute
become,
privilege.
we will see, but it could become a series because we have so much more to share around colors. We could do one show per color and then have a conversation around that. That could be fun.
Yes.
Anyway.
Let's do it, Isaya. I'm in.
We can. Why not? So we don't know how to, but we'll learn.
Yeah.
Thank you very,
we
very
have a
much,
plan already.
Corina. Thank you to anyone who was listening as well. And we will talk soon. Bye for now.